Hello, and welcome to the Business Spotlight interview series. I'm your host, Anu Khanna, and today I'm joined by Tyler Baker from Cooler Solutions. It's a 45-year-old company, a very strong legacy. And thank you so much for joining us, Tyler. Would you like to kick off with a brief background? You are a very old heritage organization. Just tell us about your history.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Anna. It's a real pleasure. And like I said, I think it's always best to start from the beginning. And we're a company with a rich heritage. We're a business that was started by my grandfather in the Black Country of Birmingham over sort of 70 years ago. He started as a sort of a humble origin in a shed with a single press tool making parts for customers locally, and decided to sort of make a business of it. And similar to the era that he was in that industrial age, decided to take advantage of it and start to grow and scale through bringing in new machines, bringing in new members of staff, and grew the business to become quite a respectable, local manufacturing enterprise in the Black Country of Birmingham. Like I said, around the sort of mid to late 50s. Did very well, grew the business, and grew it to a point where his youngest son, Carl, coincidentally my dad, decided that engineering ran through his veins also, and decided to join his dad on the adventure of growing the business as a father and son team, and carried on the legacy that Harold, my granddad, sort of built from the shed in Darlaston it was in Birmingham. And again, together, built something that was quite special. They became one of the most well-respected and well-known sort of engineering firms in Birmingham and the West Midlands at that point, spanning across 3 factories with over 90 staff, supplying to majoritively the automotive sector, but also doing parts for Ministry of Defence, sort of aerospace, agriculture, and just sort of supplying local and sort of national companies to give them a great quality of supply of products for a great price, but for a company that works locally. Unfortunately, our granddad Harold sort of suffered with ill health and sort of passed on. And Carl took the reins and decided to have a bit of a restructure. And the business changed from an in-house manufacturing facility. We realised there was a bit of a ceiling on that model where we could only grow through the capabilities and capacity of what we had in-house, and decided to look elsewhere for the procurement of parts, and decided, after spending months in the Far East, China, South Korea, India, Taiwan, Japan, and landed in China over 25 years ago, and decided to move the backbone of the business from an in-house manufacturing facility, again in Birmingham, over to China. And we've been working with them ever since.
Wow.
We've been able to offer our customers a fantastic product through the systems integration and the training that Carl implemented every year that we go back out there. We can give them incredible quality, quick turnarounds, even from sort of China. We still have a very strong foothold of UK manufacture for sort of rapid turnaround parts. And there's no ceiling to our growth now on the company that we work with. We're lucky to work with some really nice customers that are pushing the boat in terms of innovation. Some lovely heritage companies that are still British automakers, RBW, Morgan Motors, sort of to name a few. And the business family tie has remained strong, with myself and Cody, my older brother, joining the business over 11 years ago and deciding to take the reins on and keeping the legacy alive of the Barker name and the Barker legacy of offering engineered products to the country and to be fair, the world at the minute. Like you said, we're supplying now sort of internationally. And yeah, the legacy continues.
Wow. So inspirational to hear that, what your granddad did, passed it on to Carl, your dad. And now you're taking the legacy forward as a very young MD, Tyler. So really
Yes.
well done. And you're
Thank you.
taking the legacy forward. And so what footprints do you want to create with this legacy? What do you want to create the difference?
There's been a massive change. The industry now has gone from the old industrial revolution era to, you know, where the UK, certainly the Midlands, was a powerhouse of manufacture for Europe. You know, it was one of the go-to sort of manufacturing hubs. Unfortunately, that has been offshored quite sort of drastically. We all know that China has sort of led the race on the new, let's say, age of manufacturing and innovation on the engineering side. Lots of people want to bring it back on shore, and unfortunately, we've lost the knowledge, we've lost the incentive now for new young people to join the industry and make it attractive for people to join. And that is unfortunately having a massive knock-on effect, because there's, with the lack of incentive, unfortunately, the age of qualified engineers and people with the knowledge to help bring the innovation about, they're not here, and we're not bringing any new personnel into the frame. And because of that, we will always stay, you know, at the back and fall further and further behind. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to sort of incentivize new staff, new blood into the business from an age that is similar to myself, because obviously being the same demographic, I understand exactly what motivates and inspires people to come and join the journey that we're on, to bring back, like you said, the UK manufacture. And as much as we're still sort of working, let's say, offshore, so it might sound hypocritical, but if we can inspire and sort of bring about a new age of engineers and people wanting to join the industry, even though, let's say, that sort of initial sourcing is still taking place overseas, we can slowly but surely bring it back, because we've incentivized a new age of people to join this industry and want to really develop and innovate within it, and can then therefore go off and set up, similar to probably like Harold, my granddad, did when he first started in the 50s. There's a lot of change that needs to take place from a sort of a governmental side, but it all starts with what we can do personally, and that is bringing new talent and new blood into the business who are sort of young, hungry, and determined to find themselves and find, you know, an opportunity to grow within an industry and within a business. And that's something that I'm really passionate about offering here.
Yes, I can literally feel that passion and the enthusiasm. Excellent. There are a lot of business owners who are listening to you, Tyler, who will be listening to you, and who thinking, how do you crack the code? How do you bring young talent? You know, what are you doing? How are you catering to that market? How are you making Cola Solutions attractive for them?
It's all about a path, creating a path. It's something that most business leaders nowadays completely overlook. They overlook the importance of outlining a path for young starters to grow within the business and to give them an opportunity to start somewhere, to potentially look away from initial experience and start to look at a character, their actual mindset, what they represent sort of as people, rather than simply looking at experience and only hiring people who are 30 years experience and obviously already, as I said, part of the old generation, and bringing new people in and incentivizing them with a path to success. And that's something, again, where they start from limited experience, ensuring that we offer the right training, we offer them the right sort of intervals to growth, and say, look, if you can achieve this in this length of time, we can then return you with this. And we have a very sort of give and take mindset at Cola. And it's something that it's sort of embedded into our values that we offer, and say, look, we haven't got time for people who are here to drag their feet and to act as a ball and chain around their ankles. but we're very, very quick to reward the people who are pushing that extra mile. And I think that reward is something that most businesses fail to recognize and understand, that if they want their team to want to push their business forward, they need to incentivize them correctly.
Okay, so recognition, rewards, incentivizing. What else would you
Yeah,
recommend to business owners who are listening to you?
lead from the front. Don't be sat in your ivory tower and expect your team to go to the edge of the earth for you when you have zero interest in leading by example. Most leaders, again, nowadays have the sort of mindset that I've done my bit. I'm sat at the top. I don't need to do anymore. It's my job as sort of CEO, as MD, to sit back and enjoy the fruits of my hard work to the achievement that I've landed myself in as CEO. The hard work starts now for leaders when you find yourself to be in the fortunate stroke unfortunate position of being a leader, because it's time for you to set the example. And for people like me, I was up till 3 a.m. last night sorting a problem out for a customer, and that's the level of dedication that I show to my customers, but also to my team. So when I come in this morning and they left last night knowing that there was a problem, to them coming in this morning and it being fixed first thing by their leader, they can think to themselves, I need to, first of all, do better or to help achieve, or I can learn from what was done. And like you said, set that example. So I think that's a massive, massive factor now for leaders, where they seem to sit back on their laurels and their past achievements and not look forward.
Tyler, you are a very young leader, not just in your leadership experience, but also in age. And the way you just shared, the walking the talk, being the ambassador, leading from the front. Yeah, I mean that's quite impressive. Yeah, really
Thank you
good.
very much. Yeah, I'm fortunate. Like I said, it comes from my dad. I had a really sort of fortunate upbringing where nothing was handed to me. I certainly didn't go without, which was great, but that mindset of being spoiled and entitled and privileged, where unfortunately our generation is plagued with that currently. And it's about sort of re-engineering our youth's mindsets to sort of say, look, instant gratification, and you can have this if you scream and cry and moan about it. It's about, putting in the work. And like I said at the beginning, give and take. It's understanding that you get what you give in life. And if you don't put that work in, don't expect the reward. And unfortunately, some people, or a lot of people nowadays, expect that instant reward, instant gratification for little to no work. And there's no reward in it after you have been given. Even if you do get unjustly rewarded, you sort of feel empty with the actual reward or recognition that you've been given, because it's not been earned. And again, that's something that we enforce here. Probably using the word enforce probably seems a bit strict, but we try and encourage it here, where we sort of say, look, the journey. So I heard somebody say the other day, it's not the pursuit of happiness, it's the happiness in the pursuit.
I like it. Yeah.
And I think that's something that's been forgotten now. The journey is the best part. And people are cutting the journey in half, some cases in quarters and even beyond that, and just wanting the reward at the end. They want the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And that's where they're again feeling that sense of unfulfillment, because they've not earned it, and the journey hasn't been tough and challenging or rewarding. So again, that's something we encourage here.
And it really becomes a false destination, almost like an illusion.
Absolutely, yeah. And again, like you said, leaders need to understand that, and they need to set the challenges, not just sort of say, well, we'll make it easy for you and you can have this, or give in to the powers that be just because somebody's asked for something. It's about putting those challenges and those milestones in place to ensure that it's a journey and not just a destination.
Yeah, no, really good. Some golden nuggets, wise words from a very young leader. Really well said, Tyler. So just to wrap up this last question, So what's upcoming for Kohler Solutions now? What are your latest projects, or what does future look like?
There's a lot going on. There's a big rebranding happening at the minute. We're looking to sort of take over the industry. I think our mindset is infectious. I think companies want to work with us. We haven't got a limitation on the industries that we work within. We work and procure all manners of sort of projects and parts for different industries, from sort of aviation, automotive, aerospace, agriculture, medical, clean energy. And so all we can do is more of the same, align with companies that want to share our sort of vision and mindset for growth moving forward, and do what we do best, which is take control of our customers' supply chain, look for methods of improving efficiencies, saving them on cost, and again, allowing them to have the time freedom to grow their business themselves, and let us do the fun part of taking control of the supply chain, and like you said, give them that freedom. So just more of the same, really.
No, fantastic. When MDs and leaders of the company have strong mindset and strong leadership, as you have shared, everything is possible.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Let's make it happen. Thank you, Tyler, for joining us.
Cheers. Thank you, Anu.